Today we're going to be going over 7 clone fragrances that turn heads all summer long. There's something about each of these that just has something that stands out in a way that it makes people kind of question what it is that they just smelled whenever you walk by them or enter a room or whatever. Being that these are clones, of course, they're going to be the more affordable alternatives to the original, which is a great way to save money and get some more variety into your collection without spending nearly as much. I know summer's kind of winding down for a lot of us, or at least it's going to be here pretty close, but you still have got, I know summer's going to be starting to wind down, at least for a lot of us, but we still got some time left. You can pick some of these up and wear them now, even into early fall as well for some of these too, if you wanted to. We'll get things kicked off with Latafa Fakar Black, or just most commonly known as Latafa Fakar. This is a clone of YSL Eau de Parfum, which you could make the argument that it's maybe not just a summer scent, could be worn any time of year, in which I would definitely agree. You could wear Eau de Parfum anytime. I just happen to kind of feel that I would gravitate towards it more in the spring and summer months, because when it's cold outside, that type of scent DNA is not something that I'm thinking of. It's all about the apple, the lavender, the sage, the amberwood. It's aromatic, it's fruity, it's fresh, but also quite a bit sweet as well from that apple and some of the amber accords and stuff going on later on. It's definitely on the sweeter end of things in terms of a summer scent, but it still is something that's very manageable. It really comes down to personal preference. Would it be my #1 choice for the hottest of summer days? Probably not. There are some other options here, but definitely could work generally for most any time of the year. But summer is a nice time to wear it as well. Eau de Parfum is usually a little over $100. Fakar Black is, usually going to be around $30. So great savings. You could take that money and save it, or just put it into some other stuff as well, and again, kind of add more to your collection for the same price. This next one is Howest Tropical, one of the hot new releases. This is no longer the newest Howest, not even close, because they just launched, like 4 all at once? Atlantis, and wow, I've already blanked on all the other ones, but they have quite a few coming. Now, Howest Tropical, this is a clone of Jean Paul Gaultier Le Beau Paradise Garden, which is one of the hottest new Le Beau fragrances as well. Very popular stuff. Last year's release, but still going strong, and is usually going to be, right around $100 to $115 most of the time. This Howest Tropical, it's still newer, but it's going for usually around $45. Already big savings, and as per usual, that price will continue to come down a little bit more. No matter what way you cut it though, you're saving money, and it begs the question, how good is Howest Tropical? Does it really smell that much like Paradise Garden? And it does. This one passes the test. What test is that? Well, there's no scientific test, but when I smelled it for the very first time, and I already figured it was going to be close, but I did that first spray, and it was to the point where, in my mind, I was thinking, if I was blindfolded, I probably wouldn't be able to tell them apart. Just being truthful here. There are definitely plenty of clones where I could tell them apart. I think, for example, Fakar Black, Latafa, I could probably tell that one apart from Eau de Parfum. Very close with a few differences. This one is close to the point that I would not be so confident. So for the money, you're getting something that is incredibly accurate, long-lasting. It does everything that you would want it to without spending as much money. This next one is Alhambra Bright Peach, coming in at an Eau de Parfum concentration, clone of Tom Ford Bitter Peach. This one has peach, no surprise, blood orange, a bit of cognac, and honey. So you're probably thinking, that's not a summer fragrance, right? Well, it's definitely a sweeter summer scent. This is kind of more so becoming the norm. Again, I think it's all about a couple of things, one of which being just personal preference. How far are you wanting to take it for summertime? The other would be climate. Where do you live? Everybody lives in a different location with different weather, different temperatures, humidity levels, high temperatures, and so on, right? It's another thing. And then also just, what is a summer scent? Something that's bright and fresh, of course, but this does have a bright, fresh peach accord. Now, it is sweet on the more so lower end of things, especially as you get further into that dry down. This is more or less for me a summer night type of scent. This isn't one I'm going to be reaching for during the daytime. Just is not going to be something that I would be interested in. But as soon as that sun kind of starts to, work its way down, you start getting into the 5, 6 o'clock evening range, and you're going to be going out and about, on an August night, I would have no problem wearing something like this. So I think it's all about how you approach it and your mindset and this and that. But, for me, this is a nice change of pace for, a time where all I'm wearing is bright citrus fresh scents, which can start to get sometimes just a little bit boring and a little bit monotonous for me. This is a great way to break it up. There's no doubt about the fact that this is a huge head turner because it's something different, because maybe not everybody's wearing this type of thing in general, and not in summer either. It's a clone of a very expensive Tom Ford scent that most people just don't have. So great way to stand out. This next one is Armaf Hunter Intense. This one has been around for quite a while also, but you just don't really hear about it anymore. Not really sure why, probably because there are quite a few things that can accomplish a similar thing that this does. And this to me, and I've explained it before, it's just kind of a mashup. Basically, think of blue fragrances in your head right now. Okay, just do it. Dylan Blue, Sauvage, right? Bleu de Chanel, right? You're thinking of these? That's what this smells like. This smells like a mashup of all of those popular blue fragrances that first come to your mind when somebody asks you to think of blue fragrances. It has a little bit of that peppery, bright bergamot Sauvage kick. It has some of that sweeter kind of Dylan Blue, almost patchouli, kind of salty undertone as well. And then even just a little bit of the slightest bit of this bright, fresh grapefruit accord as well. So again, it's just kind of essentially encompassing all of that genre into one, but offering it to you at $20 because that's what this goes for. So in a world where there are so many blue fragrances, most of which cost quite a bit of money, you could grab this for 20 bucks and it kind of does all of those for less. This next one is a clone of a discontinued fragrance, which quickly became one of my favorites, and just as quickly as that, they discontinued it already. This is Fragrance World Ferose, and it's a clone of Light Blue Forever. They even nailed the coloration. It's pretty close. I could go grab my real bottle, but you could see just, it kind of gives you an idea of what this one's going to be like before you even smell it. The note breakdown is kind of a giveaway as well. And going into it, I was skeptical. I wasn't sure if it was going to have or achieve a similar thing that Light Blue Forever did or Light Blue Italian Love, because they're specific. They have a very bright, punchy grapefruit accord that does stand out. And just as per usual, Fragrance World, they knocked it out of the park. It has that grapefruit, violet leaf, bright, fresh, punchy, sour citrus smell to a T. This type of thing is going to be a head turner because it's different. So this one is, I don't know, it's going to be less mass pleasing than your general type of designer scent. Not to the point where it's like challenging, but again, it's different. That's why it's a head turner, because it is something that people have probably never smelled before. And so it is one that will lead people to kind of catch a whiff of it and almost try to figure it out. What was that they just smelled type of thing. And so I think a lot of us kind of are after something like that, but there are also going to be people who just don't really enjoy this as much. And so that's something you have to keep in mind as well. Sometimes a head turner could be for the opposite reason too. Second to last here, we have Armaf Très Nuit. This is a Creed Green Irish Tweed clone. You guys know I love Green Irish Tweed, mostly for springtime. To me, it is a spring scent. It's so green. It's so bright. It has that kind of neroli iris. It has that kind of lemon verbena, iris, bright green freshness that we all know and love. But no doubt about it, I love wearing this stuff in summer too, because it does work. There is a bit of iris. There are some notes that would allude to a bit more of a sweetness, but nowhere near to the point where it's all of a sudden not wearable for summer use. It definitely is. And of course, Creed Green Irish Tweed is more expensive. It's up a little over $200 for 100 ml usually. This one, Très Nuit, is usually around $20. It's one of the older standalone Green Irish Tweed clones, And so it's kind of stood the test of time as consistently being a very accurate and very affordable alternative to that more expensive Creed scent. I love how this smells in the heat. And we're gonna finish this video off with Latafa Sacrat coming in at an eau de parfum, kind of a clone of Acqua di Gio Profumo, which at one point was very important because they left us high and dry by discontinuing that, and then they left us wondering, right? What are they gonna do here? Is this scent DNA gone forever? I guess in hindsight, we should have known better because they came out with the parfum not too long after, but they waited long enough to have us all a little bit worried. I wasn't, because I have like 10 bottles of Acqua di Gio Profumo, but a lot of people were probably concerned. However, somewhere along the way, this came out. Now, and I can't remember if this actually came out after the parfum or before, so maybe this filled that gap. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember truthfully, but what I can tell you is that it is very close to Acqua di Gio Profumo / the parfum as well. I love how this stuff smells in the summertime, just a little bit of a smokiness to kind of counteract that overwhelming bright freshness of Acqua di Gio, which we all know and love. Alrighty guys, there you have it. 7 clone fragrances that are gonna turn heads and get attention all summer long. Even though summer's winding down, hey, you know, you still got some time to wear these. And as I mentioned, man, look, with the way that some of these are going in the sweeter direction, there's no reason why you couldn't wear them into fall and I mean, even really winter if you wanted to. There are better options for sure for both fall and winter, but these would work. I will drop links to everything down below because as always, you can't buy these clones at Macy's and stuff. You can't walk into the store and buy it in most places, at least here in the United States. So those links will be down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.